Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Marbella with him and her. He is
PJ Lopez and she is
Hannah Murray. Episode 59, Hang Your Knickers on the Line.
Oh, we're only 10 away from the big one.
I know, whoop. What should we do to celebrate?
I don't know, what can we do?
Have some champers.
Yes.
So Dad and I had a lovely brunch this week at Amber Chou.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. Amber Chou
Oh,
is...
bless you.
No, don't say it every time. Okay. Amber Chou is...
Bless you.
Oh, God! A place in San Pedro. It's on the Avenida del Mar Mediterraneo, which is basically near Scandi Candy and the pharmacy. It's the top end of the De Bruno's Road. And really, really nice. They do little kind of breakfast deals where you can pick what you want to eat and then you get the coffee or tea and a freshly squeezed orange juice with ginger. And Dad and I both had the same. We had poached eggs and avocado on toast with coffee and orange and ginger juice. For how much, guess?
Oh, I don't know. I can't guess because I my guessing is very, very bad. 20 euros.
No, only 11.50.
11.50 for all of that.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, considering some places you go to, is 11.50 just for like...
Just for the food.
just for the food, let alone anything else. Wow,
exactly.
Really good.
I thought that was really good and it was really tasty, so we'll definitely go back there. Lovely little spot. I was on a podcast this week.
Yeah, this one.
No, I was asked to be on a podcast.
Okay, who?
So a guy called Wayne Kelly, who I interviewed on my book show on the radio, he's got a book out called The Callback, I think. I should have looked that up beforehand. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And his podcast is called The Right Place, as in WRITE. And it's very similar, I guess, to the book show. He interviews a lot of authors about their books and their writing style, what made them write, how they write, their favourite books to read, all that kind of stuff. So we thought it would be interesting for him to have me on, not as an author, but as someone who hosts a book show, just as a different kind of perspective on reading and writing. And yeah, it was great fun. I think people expect, because I do the book show, that I'm like a massive reader that constantly has my head in books. I wish I had the time to be a massive reader, but I don't read anywhere near as much as I'd like to. But he asked me all about different books that I've read and fascinating authors that I've interviewed. And I got to talk about Bill Bryson, one of my favourite travel writers, and said how much we enjoy travelling, and if we can't be travelling, then I love reading books about other people travelling.
An on-the-spot question. Best book you've ever read?
Yeah, well, that was kind of one of the ones he asked me.
And
I took it back to Bill Bryson, to be honest, and I said Bill Bryson's Down Under was the first book that I read of his, and I absolutely loved it, and it got me into travel books and Bill Bryson's books in general, and I've read all of his travel books. Notes from a Small Island is the one where he goes around the UK, which is brilliant. Then there's Notes from a Big Country, which is the one where he's in the USA, and just the way he writes about people and places, so descriptive, and yeah, I love his writing style, it's brilliant. So huge Bill Bryson fan. What would yours be?
50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, come on.
I love historical fiction, as you know. Pulling one...
It's difficult, isn't it? Trying to think of one.
Brilliant. But actually, no, the one that always sticks in my... And I can't even... You'll know who wrote it. Was a book called Winter in Madrid.
C.J. Sampson.
Yes, that was it. And that was fascinating, because it's all about Spanish Civil War. That just sticks in my mind as a really sort of interesting book. Again, it wasn't really fiction, it was more...
Well, historical fiction.
I suppose it was historical fiction, yeah. It was, but it was really good.
Oh, good. Nice one. Well done for picking one. It's difficult to pick one.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read any of the Harry Potter stuff or anything like that. Love to watch the films. Never read any of those sort of things.
Do you think you'd be interested going back to read them?
No, I'm not a big fantasy novel fan.
No.
I've read most of the stuff by Bernard Cornwell. And I've also read all of the stuff, which you could say is fantasy, really, but I've read all of the Dan Brown stuff, and I really enjoyed that. Very easy to read, the Dan Brown stuff, and you just get caught up in the whole story.
Yeah, I suppose it would be weird watching a film and then going back and reading the book. People normally do it the other way round, don't they?
Yeah, well, I did read the whole of the Twilight Saga.
After the film?
Way before the film. And I do love a good vampire book, so I've read a lot of the Anne Rice stuff as well.
And were you disappointed with the films after you've read the book? Because that normally happens. They're not as good as the books.
No, I thought they did it very well. And strangely, the creation of the characters I had in my head was pretty spot on.
Oh, that's good.
I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. I had a lovely lunch on Friday, had Aoife and Maeve over for drinks, and then we walked down to Kala Kalua, which is just one of the best places ever, one of our favourite places.
We might have mentioned that before, that it's one of the best places.
Yeah,
it sounds like in this podcast, all you've done is go out to eat with people.
Uh-huh. What's new?
While I sit at home working and slaving so that you can have enough money to go out and eat these lunches.
It hasn't been like that. So what was lovely, what I love is going out for lunch with people and getting them to try new things. So we were suggesting to try a few little bits to taste. I suggested berenjenas frita, which is fried aubergine, and you normally get what's it called?
Cane honey.
Cane honey on top, so it's really sweet. And Maeve wasn't a fan of aubergines, and I was like, oh, please try this. I bet you'll love them. Lots of people in the past haven't liked aubergines, but then they love the fried aubergines, particularly when they're cut into chips, because sometimes they're round slices, and sometimes they're cut into chips. And the ones at Kala Kalua are particularly good, I have to say. And Maeve loved them. They both absolutely loved them.
Yeah, well, it's not anything like eating an aubergine that's been baked in the oven or anything. So they're
Which
fried,
I love.
Which you love anyway, yeah. But they're fried in batter, very light batter, so it's not heavy batter.
Like a tempura, isn't it?
Yes, and then they've got salt on them, as well as the cane honey.
They're so delicious. Honestly, if you think you don't like aubergines, try these, and I bet you'll love them. We also had some fried rosada, which was very nice, and the filetitos with pepper sauce.
Oh, that's two of our favourite things there. And you've got to be careful. Here's a Spanish lesson for you. So rosada is the fish, and rosado is wine.
Yes.
Rosé wine.
Yes, if you ask for fried rosado, they'll laugh.
Yes. And you'll just seem very silly, which we've done on a few occasions when we first came to Spain.
Yes, absolutely. Rosada and rosado, very different. We had some white sangria as well, which Maeve hadn't had before. That was really nice because we'd had some cava at the house, so I thought, well, let's stick with white.
It does sound like you're leading these girls astray.
Yes, because they're so innocent.
Oh, yes. I mean, they're Irish, and that means they don't drink.
Exactly. No, we had a lovely time. We had a really lovely time. I was thinking, you've done 3 things on your own this week, and I've done 3 things on my own this week.
Can I just say, I'm very impressed with you. I can see the notes you've written for the podcast, and you've actually spelt their names correctly. You haven't done it phonetically just to do the podcast.
Oh, no.
You've literally written out their names.
Oh, yeah, they're my buddies now. I spell their names correctly.
Well done.
Yes, thank you very much. So you had 3 rehearsals this week, and I went to the gym 3 times this week.
Yes.
Check us out.
Yes.
How are rehearsals going?
Yes.
You're doing really well with the line learning.
I'm okay on Act 1. Act 2's a little bit more complicated, and I've got some longer paragraphs of text to read in that, but I'm getting there.
And you've got to do Act 2 books down tomorrow night.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll finish this so you can spend a bit more time looking at your lines.
I won't be sleeping tonight.
You and I went for lunch on Saturday. We decided to have a beach day.
Yes, and actually my shins are quite sore, so I think I have burnt.
Your face is a bit red as well.
I think that's burnt too.
Uh-huh.
I did slap loads of stuff on.
Eventually, when I said, I think you should put some stuff on now.
It was cold when we first got there.
It was. We were in the shade for the first little part, and I was actually covered in geese. Oh, sorry, people won't understand what I said.
Yeah, she wasn't actually covered in geese.
Covered in goosebumps. I always say covered in geese.
Yes, which is strange.
Yeah, I was covered in goosebumps. That sounds funny to me now. I'm covered in geese. So yes, we were very cold in the shade, but then the sun came out, and we've both got colour.
Yes, and got hot and needed to get away from the sun and have some lunch.
Yeah, we did have some lunch. We all started off with a very expensive coffee because you might have forgotten the coffee that you'd made.
Okay, we need to get to the bottom of this. Uh-huh. So I made some coffee and some orange juice and put them into separate flasks. And we did this because last time we went to this particular place, La Perla, was it called?
Perla Blanca.
Perla Blanca.
In Elviria.
Had probably the most expensive breakfast we've ever had in our time in Spain.
Yeah, we had tomato on toast and a cup of coffee, and that was €8.50 per person.
Just for
the
coffee
tomato
and tomato toast.
So we were like, we're not doing that again. So I said, well, why don't we pick up a couple of fresh croissants from the shop at the top of our road, €1 each. Fabulous value. Really, really delicious.
That's the market, the Boulevard Market, isn't it?
Yeah. And you made some coffee and some orange juice.
Yes, so I made some fresh coffee, put it into one of those things that keep it hot, basically a flask, and did the opposite with some orange juice and an ice cube and put it in there so we could have a real mixture. All day we had stuff to drink.
And then when we got to the beach, we were...
Still talking. Okay. So just because I know you're going to try and lead it up that I did this wrong. So I put it into a special carry bag and put it right next to the beach bag that Hannah had to take. And just naturally assume that when she picked the beach bag up, she'll pick the other bag up. And when we got there, I said, where's the other bag? She said, well, you didn't pick it up. And when we got home, it was still there, where it was, right next to the beach bag. And you just left it there, assuming that I would randomly pick up a bag.
Randomly?
Well, you picked up the main bag.
Because I packed it. And I figured you packed
the other thing.
bags.
I packed it, then I'm taking it. And if any other bags there that I haven't packed, I'm not taking it.
I do kind of feel like you should take responsibility
for
the bag.
No, I made it all.
No, but I'm telling you, if we didn't have the beach bag, you would not take responsibility for that at all. If we'd forgotten the beach bag, that 100% would have been my fault. You would have gone,
absolutely.
So then why is the other thing
You
my
were
fault?
in charge of bags that day.
Was I? Did we sign a contract?
Yes, called marriage.
Ooh, I'd like to hear from the listeners to see who was responsible for the bag. Am I constantly in charge of bags, or is the person who packs the bags responsible?
Well, I just can't
for
get
the bag?
why you would leave a bag there.
I can't get why you would leave your bag of stuff there.
Moving on.
Yeah, I think we should. I'd love to hear what the listeners think, though. We decided to have a paella when we went for lunch at Perla Blanca, because last time we were there with Bev and Jamie, we had paella and it was gorgeous. This one, beautiful flavour, really, really nice, but I did have a clam that was sandy, and that really puts me off when you're chewing sand.
You like grease?
Well, I might like grease, but I don't like sandy. I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah.
But other than that, we had a lovely day. Oh, I forgot to mention, we did have to buy coffee because PJ had forgotten the bag.
Oh, yes.
€3.60 for a cup of coffee.
Yeah. So,
Each. €3.60 each for a cup of
so
coffee.
that set us backwards because we weren't going to do that. And in the end, we still spent over nearly €7 in
So
coffee.
we started the day in a little bit of a mood.
Well, Hannah did. Especially as she realised she'd forgotten the bag.
Oh my God, stop it. Stop it.
So, talking about the clams and sand, it is a thing with clams, is that you're meant to give them a good rinse out and everything. Ideally, if they're alive, because they open in the water and then you can give them a rinse. But a lot of them now have been pre-frozen on all these laws about when you sell, that's a tongue twister, when you sell shellfish.
Mm-hmm. She sells seashells on the seashore.
That's easy, but now when she sells shellfish.
When she sells
There you go. Thank you, right?
When she sells shellfish. There we go.
And also, it really, really winds me up when people can't be bothered to de-beard mussels.
You always have. We talked about this last week, and there were bearded mussels and sandy shellfish.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but it's food prep. You know, you're doing food prep for people to eat. Clean it.
Yes. Should be obvious, you'd think. I had 2 quizzes this week. The Thursday one at Hogan's Stand and Saturday night at Urban Chai. It was great fun. 2 teams actually won the money. So each team got €104 each. So that was really nice. Everyone was absolutely delighted.
Wasn't the team that I would normally be on, and I wasn't there?
No.
Good.
No.
Because that always happens in the main group.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. But you weren't there.
I wasn't there, no.
What were you doing?
I was watching the FA Cup semi-final with Crystal Palace and Aston Villa at Wembley, but I wasn't at Wembley. I was at the Hogan Stand.
And
we thrashed them 3-0, and we are now in the FA Cup final.
Oh, amazing.
It was
absolutely
great.
Amazing.
I was getting a bit worried, though, because I was 4 pints of Guinness in by the first 45 minutes.
Oh, God.
But I did slow down.
Yeah, good. Well done.
It was excitement. That's what it was.
I bet. We were absolutely fine by the time I saw you, so well done. We went to Hogan Stand then afterwards. We met you there and had a couple of drinks. There was some fabulous singers on, the Rhythmics duo. They were great.
Yeah, really good. Well, they've been there a few times. I think they're quite regulars at Hogan Stand.
And Liverpool have won today.
Yes, just before we've just done this podcast, Liverpool have been crowned champions of the Premier League.
Woohoo! Well done, Liverpool.
And I also saw, because we were watching a great TV series, weren't we? Something in Wrexham. What's it called?
Oh, Welcome to Wrexham.
Welcome to Wrexham. And they've just secured another promotion, straight promotion up to Championship football. And I think that's 5 promotions in 5 years that they've got.
5? I thought it was 3.
No, because they entered the Football League. So they started off non-league. So they've gone up.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the next lot of the documentary series because we love that.
That's going to be great, yeah.
I interviewed some interesting people this week. I spoke to Paul and Gemma Carr, who are the founders of Collective Calling. We've talked about them before, a great charity. They're based in Spain on the Costa del Sol. They do a lot of work in Tanzania as well, and a lot of work locally for the homeless, particularly on the Costa del Sol. We talked about their mobile shower unit a few weeks ago.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it was lovely catching up with them. I had an interview with Doug Lawrence, who'd written a book called Grief, the Silent Pandemic. And this was on Monday, which was literally just a day after Easter Sunday and 3 days after the 3-year anniversary of losing Mum. But I was really proud of myself how well I did this interview and conducted this interview. I didn't cry at all. I just very adultly.
Adultly? Is that a word? I don't think that's
a word.
No.
Not adultly at all.
No, you need to go back to school as a child and learn how to speak.
Very... Oh, what word? Maturely, thank you. Adultly sounds ridiculous.
You wouldn't believe she's a radio presenter, would you?
So I very maturely spoke about grief, and he'd sadly lost his wife. So as well as being not a counsellor, but he was like a therapist, and he helps a lot of other people get through grief. But he'd, experienced it himself, having lost his wife. I think it was about 7 years ago. So we were really sharing stories and sharing what it's like, how other people treat you and things that people say, and it was really worthwhile. I'm sure anybody listening who was going through grief or who knew somebody going through grief would have got something from it, because I felt like it was really helpful on the subject.
Good.
And talking of grief, I had the lovely Sal Williams in the studio, who I haven't seen for many years. She is the wife of the late Mel Williams, who was an absolute or still is an absolute legend on the Costa del Sol. He had Mel's Beach, he had various clubs and beach clubs. He was an entertainer, singer and musician, and yeah, he sadly died. I think she said that was about 7 years ago. And she's organising a lunch, which I'm looking forward to going to next Friday, called Sal's Memory Lane Lunch at La Sala. And not exactly sure what to expect. She wants to get people together, old friends who haven't seen each other for a long time, but new people as well. You can come on your own. It doesn't matter if you don't know anyone. She wants to kind of create new memories and remember old memories, that kind of thing. So I'm not really sure what to expect, but I'm looking forward to it very much.
Good. There's another thing with regards to the Hogan Stand, which I'm quite excited about and looking forward to hearing more about, is that they obviously do a golf society called the Hogan Hackers.
Yeah.
They're now going to be doing a paddle society.
Oh, yes.
So they're just getting the final touches together for that. I've opted in for that.
Have you?
Yes. I'll do something. I like paddle. I like tennis. I used to play it a lot. So I'd love to get back into something like that. So I'm just waiting to hear about the new information about that. So we'll update you on that information when we hear.
Yeah, exciting.
And staying with San Pedro, the new beach club that opened, well, I say beach club, it wasn't a beach club last year. It was Mayor Garden, which was a restaurant.
Yeah, basically a restaurant. Yeah,
but a very big restaurant, way too big for what it really needed to be. So I think they've revisited that and they've dug half of it up and made it into a swimming pool, and that's due to open imminently.
I'm nervous how expensive the beds are going to be.
They look like they're expensive beds, but I believe, now I might be wrong with this, so don't absolutely 100% quote me, but I think Mosh are involved in it as well. Mosh are a big entertainment group, so it could be a very, very good beach club, but it might be on the pricey side. We will report back.
Yes, we'll let you know as soon as for that. Few articles from the Sur in English. There was an interesting piece talking about business startups in Malaga account for almost half the number of businesses in the whole of Andalusia. Real estate apparently is the most active. 162 new real estate companies were set up in March, and 789 new companies were set up in Malaga in March, which is incredible numbers.
It is, but this real estate business is almost getting out of hand, because the problem is, it doesn't matter how many more real estate agents you get, they're still fishing from the same pond. There's only a finite number of people that want to buy, and everybody's trying to get those people. And what it's doing is pushing all the marketing costs up, because the way you have to market, because it's international buyers, is you've got to do like Google ads and Meta ads and things like that. So all that's happening is there's more and more people trying to do it, which is pushing up the cost per click, which means that the cost per acquisition or the cost per lead is just rocketing. So yeah, I'm all for new business, but try and find something else to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people think it's the only way. I mean, it is a good way of making money for sure, property down here. But yeah, there are definitely other ways of doing it. Spain's only fjord is in Andalusia. You thought fjords were a Norwegian thing, so did I.
Until I read this article.
Yeah. So the definition of a fjord is a narrow, deep gulf between sleepy... Oh, I can't read my writing. Steeply. A narrow, deep gulf between steeply sloping mountains formed by glaciers in the Quaternary period. When was that?
I've never heard of that period.
I haven't either. Quaternary period.
Talking of glaciers, do you remember glaciers? Fox's Mint.
Yeah,
they were lovely.
Love them, yeah.
Polar bear on the advert. I remember that.
I bet you can still get them in what's the supermarket?
I don't know if they exist anymore.
Yeah, no, you'll get them in Iceland or the equivalent
need to check
of.
that. Used to like those.
So this fjord is in Sierra Morena, which is near Bern-Besar River.
Well, have you just picked the biggest words to read out?
It's in Cordoba province, basically. Yes. I'd quite like to visit it because we like a fjord.
Yes.
Having been to some in Norway.
Yes. No, we haven't.
Yes, we have. Mum's ashes are in a fjord.
That's not a fjord, is it? That wasn't a fjord.
No, it wasn't.
We did sail across a fjord, though.
Yes.
To get from where we were with the boat ferry, the car ferry thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that was a
fjord. It's not in a fjord, it's a lake. Yes, you're quite right. So yes, anyway, I'd like to go and see this place. It was in Cordoba province, the only fjord in Andalusia. That's quite impressive.
You can't help.
Sorry, the only fjord in Spain. I meant.
You can't help but say that with a Norwegian slight accent. Can you fjord?
Was I saying fjord?
Yes.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were.
Was I?
Yeah.
Fjord.
Fjord.
Oh, how funny. And how about this? This is shocking. Literally. There's politicians up in arms about this, trying to do something about it, and I'm not surprised. There is a bar in Oviedo in Asturias offering shots of alcohol for 50 cents.
Oh, a bargain.
For those who have a 10-second electric shock.
10 second?
Yep.
That's a long shock.
It's called El Calambrazo. And the bar itself is publicising it on social media. People are flocking to get their shot for 50 cents, having got a 10-second electric shock. I mean, that is shocking. It's like, come here, I'll punch you in the face and give you a free shot.
But 10 seconds is a long time.
Yes.
How many volts are they giving them?
I don't know.
They might die.
I know.
I mean, if they've got a heart condition that they didn't know about, that's it, game over.
I mean, it's shocking, literally.
But mind you,
I can't believe they're doing
it's 50
this.
cents a shot. I'm up for that.
Oh, no, you're not. It's a joke.
No, it's
That's
not
really,
good.
really dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine being a young person going, yeah, we'll do that. You'd go up there, you'd get constant electric shocks in order to get lots of shots. And then, as you say, tragedy could strike.
Yeah.
Very irresponsible. The bar.
Very irresponsible bar.
Yes, we won't say the name of it because we don't want you to go there.
Right.
Go.
I can see your notes there, and I can see that there's one thing missing.
Right.
Taste test.
Oh, yes.
So, tell everybody what it was, first of all, that you bought and how much it was.
Oh, my goodness. So, Oh, God. I keep seeing loads of publicity about this Dubai pistachio chocolate, which looks amazing. We love pistachios and we love chocolate. So I thought, oh, this sounds really good. I've seen people talking about it on social media. It's been in the press. It's like this massive craze. So I thought, I wonder if I can get some. So I had a little look on Amazon and I found a bar for €11.
Which you told me afterwards.
Which is ridiculous money for a bar of chocolate. But I thought, well, special treat. It's supposed to be really nice. I won't buy it again, etc. Anyway, when it arrived, it is a lot smaller than a standard bar of chocolate.
It's basically buying it off of Temu virtually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Yeah, well, you think
it looks huge in the actual picture, and then when you get it, it's
you think you're buying a beach towel, and then it arrives and it's like a flannel.
Yes.
Yes, it's that kind of thing. So yeah, I felt embarrassed about the price and the size, and then we
Can I just say though, the size doesn't matter.
No, if it tastes nice.
Uh-huh.
So you filmed me revealing this chocolate, and we had a lot of interaction on social media. There was a lot of people going, "We want a taste test. What do you think of it?"
So you did a taste test.
So I did a taste test. And it wasn't that great,
No,
was
it actually gave a bit of a nasty aftertaste.
Yeah, and it's still in the fridge.
I mean, the milk chocolate, like you said, was really nice. You thought, oh, that's nice. And then you get to the pistachio centre and you think, oh, it's a bit nothingy. And then you, like a lot of things, you sort of start to get this sort of flavour and you're thinking, oh, that's not nice. And it took a long time to get rid of it.
I was really disappointed. I couldn't taste any pistachio at all, so it was just a bit, meh. Aoife was saying it tastes a bit like grass, that kind of...
Grass?
Yeah, because it's really not great. So I wouldn't recommend remortgaging to buy some Dubai pistachio chocolate.
And off the back of that, people have said you've got to do more taste tests. So we will be revealing a new one.
Yes, I bought something else to try, which we'll do in the week. And before we finish, we just want to say a massive, massive thank you to our friends Craig and Evelyn, who come to the quiz. They live in Switzerland, but they're in the process of moving over here permanently, which is really exciting. They listened to our podcast and heard us talking about how much we wanted to go and see Duran Duran, but the tickets were ridiculously expensive, so we didn't buy tickets. When I went to the quiz on Saturday at Urban Chai, they were there and Evelyn said, oh, I've got something for you, but we don't want any money for them. We bought Duran Duran tickets, but we can't go. We're not going to be here, so we'd like you to have them.
And I'm still bowled over by that generosity. Absolutely
it.
Amazing. Thank you both so much.
So much.
Now start getting really excited because, I mean, I'm an 80th, well, I say 80th child. You're an 80th child, but I grew up with 80s music.
Yeah.
So it's totally the sort of music that I love.
I know, you're a massive fan.
It's going to be huge.
We're so excited.
And
so excited.
So excited and so thankful.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. Really, really unbelievably kind. We'll take lots of photos and videos and bombard you with them the whole evening. It'll be like you're there
with us, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You'll rule the day that you gave us the tickets. So that is it from us this week. Thank you for listening. Please follow the podcast. If you listen to the podcast, please hit follow because it helps our numbers and then you'll get reminded each time there's a new podcast on your phone, which is great. It is goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from her.